Going back to your wife, how did you find someone to be a partner with? She's beautiful inside and out, but most importantly, someone that's not going to get jealous of your success.
Yeah, well, yeah, wow. Well, I mean, to find someone. Me and Pam have been together for so long. We were 16 when we started dating. If she was after my check, it was all of $75. So it's like I always loved that was never an issue for me. I never had to guess why she was there. It wasn't because of celebrity or money. I mean, even though I was on the radio by the time we met, I had started on my radio show. But I mean, Pam is so real. It was just never about that. Pam, she doesn't, money doesn't matter to her. She's not moved by that, and I'm the same way. And I think that's one thing that connects us. Am I happy that, I've been able to live a comfortable life? Yeah, absolutely. Of course, everybody wants that. Do I have to have it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't need the cars I have, the house I have. It doesn't matter. None of that matters, I mean, because the way I've always looked at it is that, in the end, we all end up with the exact same amount of money. I don't care who you are. Me and Bob Johnson are going to end up with the exact same amount of money. None. So that's not what's important. What's important is the legacy you leave behind, the people you leave behind. I wish I had a better way of saying that, but what I mean is the character that your character lives through your children and your grandchildren, that you have raised some good people with character. That's the stuff that's important. That, and it ain't got nothing to do with money. I don't keep score like that.
What song gets Donnie into beast mode? When you have those trying and difficult times, what's that song that you put on?
Oh man, there's so many. It's whatever God plays for me, really. And I don't mean to make this sound like a fairy tale or something, but I really don't have many hard times, difficult moments in my life, and I mean, yeah, there are things that happen that you would rather they not happen, but things happen, that it's not going to always be perfect. Like people have bad experiences. To me, the operative word is experience, and so even a bad experience, if you look at it with, I don't care what it is, you can find the silver lining in it. It's something good that's going to come out of this. And that's the way I look at it. And that's why I'm able to say that with conviction, that I really don't have bad times, because even those I know how to manage. That, it's because God's taking you through something to get you ready for something else that's going to be really good for you. That's the way I look at it. And it's just experience. It's not bad. It's just experience. Some of the worst days of my life. I mean, I think about losing my father, me and my twin brother, who's a minister, by the way. By the way, that was also my first ambition in life, was to be a Baptist minister. But George Clinton turned me out somewhere along the road. And, we were talking about that, just the same thing, just silver linings. And I was telling him that even in my father's death, that I find a silver lining. I miss him, loved him much, but it was this, that for the longest, I had two grandfathers and my father, and then I had one grandfather, my father, and then just my father, and then I lost him. Well, guess who's next? That's me. That's me. So once you know that, though, it makes you a lot less tolerant of BS. I don't have time for it. And so it makes you appreciate life more. So anything that makes me appreciate life more, there's good in that to me. Do I wish my father was still there? Absolutely. But, I just, and that may seem too far-fetched for some people, but that's the way I came to view it. that it was a blessing because his death made me appreciate life even more.
I know you were sharing the Aretha Franklin story. I want you to share that with everybody.
I was at Aretha Franklin's house doing a special 2-hour edition of Video Soul, and I'm sitting on the Queen's throne with her at her piano. And somehow the conversation went to Curtis Mayfield, and we started talking about the makings of you, Curtis Mayfield's song. Aretha goes, add a little sugar, honeysuckle, and I just started crying. There was so much in that moment for me. This is the greatest voice I've ever heard singing one-on-one to me. Right here in my ear, Aretha Franklin, on her throne. I'm sitting in her house, the castle of the Queen, on her throne, her piano, and she's singing to me. And it was just overwhelming for me. It was just too much. It was, in that moment was, how did this happen? How did I get here? That I'm not worthy. I don't know how I got here, but I'm sure they're gonna be putting me out soon. Really, it was just too much. For this little boy from Detroit who grew up looking at every Cadillac that went by, hoping to see an Aretha Franklin or one of the Temptations or one of their cousins. I'd have been just as excited, to now be sitting on her throne with her.
You probably don't laugh. You're probably like, what's she doing with this school board, bringing this? But I don't know if you have one. I'll put you along with some other things on here. That's why I got it covered up and it's looking like this. Wow. But you were on my vision board. I put this up November, December last year. I started my show. It's been 2 years, Donnie.
Really?
And just to have you here, just to show to everybody that's possible. And I put this up November, and 8 months later, you're on the show. So wow. I don't know if you have a vision board, but I was like, you know what? This is cool. I got to show everybody. It's looking a little bit raggedy sitting on my nice dresser, but I had to bring it in to show you that.
That's great. Wow, I'm
you on my vision board.
Yeah,
and now it came true. And I'm excited to be here. I'm present.
Well, I'm excited to have you here.
You
are really special. I just met you for the first time a week ago, and now I've seen you 3 times in 1 week. People are starting to talk, but you just have such a warm presence. I mean, right away, I just liked you. Yeah. You're very, very cool. So I'm honored to be on your show. Thank you.
Just last 2 questions. When do you feel like, I guess, your character was tested the most?
When my character was tested the most. Yeah. Wow. That's that's a good question. No one's ever asked me that, and maybe I have a really simple answer, because I don't know. I don't feel like my character's ever tested, because I know who I am, so. I'm not swayed by peer pressure and stuff. I mean, from the time I was a kid, I didn't write on walls, deface people's property, or talk disrespectfully to people. I don't care what my friends did. It's not me. I don't do it. So I don't know that character was ever tested, because I know what my character is. And I'm unwavering in that, so that's the best I can give you. I'm sorry.
It's fine. That was perfect. So last question, I guess it's 2-part. How in the heck did you get that, I guess, the $1 million deal back in the day? I know they pay you really, really nice now, but how were you able to negotiate that type of value that you saw in yourself? And then secondly, what advice can you give to anybody who wants to be where you're at or even higher?
I don't want to sound like, that guy that's just walking around handing tickets out for God, but, I felt like he negotiated that deal for me, that by giving me the gift that he blessed me with. That's what they're paying me for. It's not like it was, like it took any kind of special skill to negotiate it. They pay you what you're worth. Right. That's what they pay you. if you're not scared to ask for it. And so I'll thank God for that too, for giving me the nerve to ask or demand that you pay it. I had this conversation one night with Anita Baker. We were, I know it sounds like you just name dropping, but it's true and it's pertinent to what we're talking about. She was staying with me and Pam, her and her husband, then husband, Walter. We were at our house down in Florida, and they came down and spent a week with us. And, I remember talking to her about a moment that I'm sure everyone that's successful goes through, and she could relate to it totally. What I was saying was that you get to a point where you have gone so far beyond your dreams, that you can. But when you get to that point, when you get beyond your dreams, then you still have to see your value. Like my dream used to be to make $50,000 a year. That was my dream. All of a sudden, you're making $1 million a year. So that can make it hard to stay focused on what it. But then, so you have to dismiss that thought that I'm so far beyond my dreams that can make you just satisfied. Then it really has to become making them pay your value. That's what it's about. It's not about what my dreams are or were. It's about my value. And I've always been good at that. I know the numbers. I know what you make. I'm going to always know that. I know the difference that I make to a radio station. I get it. I guess that would be the advice to other people in this business, is to know your value, and then not be afraid to get it. I think it's a lot harder in today's radio and TV, or today's media, because the money is not what it used to be. It's changed because of the internet. Companies have found an alternative way to advertise. It used to just be radio and TV. Now it's the internet. It's social media. There are other ways they can get to the consumer. So it's different. And because of that, a lot of time management will try to diminish your value. I mean, they don't have as many dollars to work with as they used to. So I understand that. But, for radio in particular, radio is supposed to be magic. And I believe that it still is. Radio used to be about creating a vibe that people could connect to and feel a part of. Now it's about manipulation of technology, trying to do it by numbers, and if you can do that, if you can just play A, B, and C, and D always happens, you don't have to pay a Donnie Simpson, because you can just do it with math. But it ain't never going to be that. They think it is, but it will never be that. We all get the same records. Every radio station. The only thing that makes it different is who presents it. And I don't mean to make that sound like that's some brilliant discovery by me. Hell, I learned that the first year I was in radio. That's, really, that's the difference. If you think you can just do it by playing music, you got your iPhone and iPod and Pandora and Spotify. Good luck out playing music to me. I got music. Who presents it? How do you present it? That's the thing. That's the difference.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It means a lot. You guys check out the boss, Mr. Donnie Simpson. He's just getting started. Much more to go. Wow. I see nothing but great things, and keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Kat.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate that. Man, I love hanging with you. You start off with the legend, all them other old things you call me. You end up with giving me Bruce's title, the boss. It's like, whoa.
Oh, God.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Please share and subscribe to Kat Harvey SNL on YouTube, and definitely tag all your friends to watch this exclusive interview with Mr. Donnie Simpson again. And I want to thank Miss Ricky and Rick Chill for putting this interview together. Thank you, guys.